Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching Africa Today, and to talk more about the crisis in Africa affected by the war in Iran, we are very delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mohamad Ezaby. He's an international relations expert. Thank you very much, Dr. Ezaby, for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ezaby, to start with, I would like to ask you about the latest developments on the ground concerning the economy sector in the African continent affected by the war on Iran.
Well, if we start with the fuel prices, which have risen sharply by 30 to 70% across the continent, with extreme cases reaching 150% in places like Somalia. Import-dependent countries, especially in East Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, are facing fuel shortages, panic buying, and rationing. West African countries facing the Atlantic have seen fewer direct supply distributions but still higher prices. Many governments have introduced energy saving measures such as early shop closure, reduced street light and curfews. Also, the near blockade of the strait have severely distributed shipping, raised freight and insurance costs, and delayed deliveries of oil and refined products. West Africa is most exposed due to its reliance on Gulf supplies via the Indian Ocean. This has caused fuel shortage, higher logistic costs, and border trade slowdowns affecting imports and exports.
Dr. Ezaby, how might the war reshape Africa's geopolitical alliance and also diplomatic positions globally?
Well, the war now make great changes in Africa. We saw what had happened in Mali. We saw what now two countries try to attack Mali to prevent what is happening. Also, no way to depend in diplomatic, especially that Iran up till now insist to their conditions, and the United States insist on their conditions. No balanced way to reach an nearly agreement. This is what is happening now is a serious risk. Fertilizer prices, which have increased 60 to 70% in Africa, and all African people now suffering from high prices, especially in food supplies. Many African countries try to depend on other countries, especially in the food supplies, especially to import their needs of oil, but Hormuz Strait controlled 20 to 30% of oil supplies to all over the world. So if we talk about due to disturbed supplies from the Gulf region and higher energy costs for production, Sub-Saharan Africa imports over 80% of its fertilizers. Reduced availability and higher costs are expected to look crop yields, raise food prices, and worsen food insecurity, particularly in the East Africa and the Sahel.
We want to talk more about this region, the Sahel region. How is it affected, Dr. Ezaby, from the ongoing war, especially these countries?
Well, the higher cost for fuel transport and food prices are driven inflation, with some countries facing double-digit rates. Ordinary citizens are experiencing increased costs for transport, cooking fuel, and basic food items. This leads to reduced purchasing power harder daily commutes and greater hardship for low-income households. Energy rational and subsidy pressure are adding to the strain, especially in Sahel countries.
Yeah. We want to talk now, Dr. Ezaby, about the African governments. How are they prepared to respond to this combined energy, food security and economic crisis so far?
The African government, which the conflict may intensify competition and influence in Africa among major powers. So many African countries try to talk with Russia, with China, with Turkey, try to make negotiations with European countries to take their needs from food. Also, they start to not care about United States, especially that United States made this crisis the main reason for closing Hormuz Strait, which were opening before the war. So many African governments start to depend on China, Russia, and other countries. Try to talk with Iran now to give them permissions for their ships to pass from Hormuz Strait. So we can say that the main power in the world is completely changed after this war. Especially up till now, we can't consider the war is ended. The war may happen again, may today, may tomorrow, especially we saw what Muqtada Khamenei said today in his message to Pakistan. He is threatening the United States. He said that we have thousands of rockets. We are ready to start the war again. If you start, we will destroy everything. So the African government start not depend on the United States, but it depend on China and Russia.
Dr. Ezaby, we know all about this trade agreement between the 55 African countries, the Africa Trade Agreement. Is it implemented or not yet? And if it is implemented, does this agreement will help in giving the countries sufficiency in all their needs from Africa to Africa?
Up till now, we can't consider it is ready to be done. But and even if done, all African countries suffer from shortage of oil. So how can the African countries depend on the African countries in their needs of oil? We know that a lot of oil comes from Gulf countries, from Venezuela, and it is already under control by the United States, from Argentina, from Russia, and United States prevent Russia to export their oil. So no African countries can give all the continent their needs of oil. If you talk about Algeria, what is the product of oil from Algeria by percentage? It's not more than 2% from the whole world production of oil. So this deal between African countries without oil is in vain.
Dr. Ezaby, how about the major powers like China and Russia in supporting the African continent in its crisis now? And we've seen allies between China and Africa and also Russia and Africa.
Well, China is trying to put their hand on Africa, try to make a relation, especially that African countries have a lot of treasures. We can say iron treasures, many treasures in the land of Africa. United States try to play in African countries. China wants to bet their leg on African countries. Russia also try to have a rule in Africa. So China and Russia may help all African countries to make a deal to take their treasures or to invest in African countries to face the United States and try to make a deal or agreements with African countries to not to give the chance for United States to have the African treasures.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohamad Ezaby, the international relations expert. Thank you very much for joining us today in Africa